Hello, it's Kelsey, and welcome to Thanksgiving week. In this video, I am going to show you my sourdough pie crust recipe. I'm starting it here right now, getting it going. You do have to have frozen butter, so I already had frozen this, and now I'm dicing it up, and you throw it all into a food processor. It's so simple. But yeah, I'm showing the pie crust recipe and then a very healthy option for pumpkin pie that I actually made twice for breakfast. And that's what I'm doing in one of these in this video. I'm making it for the next morning so we can have it with our breakfast. It definitely has to be healthier than pancakes and donuts, and it has very low sugar and is so good, minus the whipped cream on top. But since it's full of so many other good nutrients, I decided to look past it, especially because this crust is also sourdough, so it's fermented. So I think it's a superfood breakfast, better than cereal too. But anyway, so I am going to be showing that, and then I'm just going to be decorating for Thanksgiving. I love the very nostalgic decorations, so that is what I will be putting up. And I am not one that likes to skip Thanksgiving decorations. I am definitely one who decorates for Christmas after it. And I know there's so many people who like to get into Christmas right after Halloween but in November. And I'm kind of the opposite. I like to focus on Thanksgiving, and then once Thanksgiving's over, it's Christmas time, and then I kind of keep my tree up a little longer after the new year. And maybe some people who do it in November probably feel the opposite. Like as soon as Christmas is over, they want to take everything down. But yeah, I go a little bit different than others. I'm interested to know what you do. Do you wait until after Thanksgiving to decorate for Christmas, or do you do it as soon as possible? Please feel free to comment down below. I'd love to hear it. Also, this, if you just saw that in the video, my sourdough starter had a bit of a dry patch on top of it. It hadn't been fed in a while, and so that's what fell out there. But yeah, it's sourdough discard. As you can see, it hasn't been fed in a while. Had that like dry piece, and then I ended up not even having the correct amount, so I just filled it with water the rest of the way, and it works just fine. Because there is another pie crust recipe that I use that's very, very similar to this that isn't sourdough, and it's just water, so the sourdough just adds the fermented goodness. But yeah, then you run it through the food processor until it starts to grab, kind of creating like a Play-Doh, and then you quickly put it on some parchment paper into two different or equal piles and turn them into discs, and then you put those in the refrigerator for at least an hour before you actually make the dough. You can also freeze this pie crust dough for a very long time. It's a very simple recipe and can be thrown together quickly. Just have to have a lot of butter and a decent amount of sourdough discard. But I will put the whole recipe written out in the description box for you to screenshot. Okay, but back to what's in this video. So I'm showing you a healthier way to make pie crust and pumpkin pie, just the most nourishing way possible. And that is what I have really come to conclusion with, is that you don't need this diet or specific diet to be healthy. What works for us is that we just make pretty much as possible from scratch with high quality ingredients and cooking from home as much as possible, and that's what makes us feel the healthiest and the best versions of ourselves. I say that because it feels weird calling a pie healthy, but like I said, if you use high quality ingredients and make it completely from scratch, I truly believe it is healthy. But okay, back to my Thanksgiving saga and what else is in this video. So this is like put my kids to bed, working through the night, kind of closing and shutting down the kitchen, loading the dishwasher. As you can see, there was like a million dishes always. So I'm gonna just completely reset the kitchen, clean it up. So hopefully this gives you some motivation to go do the same and reset your kitchen, so it makes your tomorrow so much easier and productive. It's crazy how much smoother our day goes if I just do this at night. If I reset the whole kitchen, I'm not like behind a day on dishes, and it's just, yeah, so much better. So go do it. If you have it, put this on and go reset your kitchen, especially with this busy week ahead of Thanksgiving, where you're going to be baking and cooking a lot. It's so much better if the kitchen is clean. So I am going to be wiping down everything, cleaning it all. It's so nice to just do a good reset. Okay, and then back to Thanksgiving. I personally love Thanksgiving. I feel like Thanksgiving and Easter are probably my two favorite holidays. I know a lot of people just love Christmas, but um, I love Thanksgiving, and I've recently have grown my love of Thanksgiving because there was this picture book that I read my kids. It was like, I think on like a blog post recommending it, or it might have been Brighter Day Press. They are a great resource for homeschoolers or anyone Christian who wants to teach their children through picture books, or give them a love for reading and expose them to really great literature. So there on this list was a book called Squanto and the Miracle of Thanksgiving. I shared it actually in a reel recently, and it goes into detail about Squanto. He is the Indian who helps the pilgrims, and then they celebrate and have a feast, and it's Thanksgiving. And in a lot of books, it just mentions Squanto, but it doesn't like give his background. And as a Christian, his background is so important. And I did not learn about it in school. I went to public school. So now I am learning it with my kids. For those of you who are not familiar with Squanto's story, I am just going to give you the brief timeline of it. So it was in the year of our Lord that Squanto lived in North America, where it was Massachusetts, which will eventually become Plymouth. So he was 12 years old, and some white men, on a ship stopped at their beach, and they went and talked to them, and they seemed nice at first and offered them food, but then they took him captive, him and some other Native Americans. And they put them in the bottom of their ship and put him in the dark. He thought he'd never see the sunlight again. They take him to Spain, where they put them on auction to become slaves. And the God had a different plan for Squanto, though, because monks bid on Squanto and did not make him become a slave. Instead, they taught him, they were kind to him and taught him about God and how to speak their language, which was Spanish. And he was there for 5 years, but they could tell that he was still very sad and missed his family. So they found a way to get him to London, England, and to stay with a family there, a very nice family who taught him English, and they paid him to take care of their horses and their stalls. And he was there again another 5 years. So now he's 10 years out. He's 22. And he finally got the opportunity to get on another ship to go back to North America. And he finally makes it back to where his tribe was, and everyone is gone. It is completely vacated, and his whole tribe died of an illness. So if he would have not been kidnapped, he would have gotten the illness and he would have died just like the rest of them. There was like a neighboring tribe that told him about, what happened with his tribe. And since he was a godly man now, he was just so upset and, praying to God a lot, went and lived in nature by himself, and, just didn't understand why God let this happen. Until one day, the tribe leader again found him and said, you need to come meet these white people. They are living where your tribe was living. So he goes there, and walks up, and it's the pilgrims, and they're just amazed that he can speak English, and because that's their language, they were speaking English. And they said that in their Bible there was a man who suffered a lot and went through hard times, but God took the wickedness and turned it for good. And it was Joseph in the Bible. And they said maybe, and Joseph ended up saving a lot of people. If you're not familiar, in the Bible, Joseph ends up, his brothers put him through hard times, and he goes and he is actually put into slavery as well. He uses his hard times for good by helping Pharaoh understand his dreams that God sent him, and ends up being able to save a lot of people from being hungry. Great story. If you haven't heard that one, you should check it out too. But anyway, so the pilgrim said, maybe you are our Joseph, maybe you will help us, because they had just went through a very hard winter, and lost a lot of people, and now they need to, build good houses and plant crops and stuff. And how perfect that Squanto knew the land so well, because he lived there, he grew up there, so he's able to teach them and show them how to live there and grow food and hunt. And so they do that in the spring and the summer, and then by fall they're just so thankful for Squanto that they have a 3-day feast of, all this good food. And what is it? It's Thanksgiving. So anyway, I hope that gives you a better perspective for Thanksgiving if you didn't know it, and it makes you like it a little bit more. I know Christmas is just such a big deal, but I feel like Thanksgiving it's pretty great too. I just realized I missed a part in the video where I was writing the recipe down in my cookbook. If you're new to my channel and you haven't seen it, I have a family heirloom cookbook that my grandma started for me. She wrote down her recipes, and now I am writing recipes for myself because it's nice to reference it, not have to be looking at a phone constantly. But I hope to pass it to my daughter one day, and I write little extra notes in there, and it takes like no time at all. So if you aren't doing this, you should, because it is a cool family heirloom that you could be starting for your family. As you can see, this pie crust is so easy to work with. So another thing I wanted to point out, that it's a good one. that up and resetting it for the day. I know I said kitchen earlier, but really kitchen and living room is just so nice to do a reset in the evening. So if yours is cluttered up with toys, just go reset it. You'll be so happy in the morning. Some of my favorite Thanksgiving decorations right there. I just love these nostalgic decorations because I know when I was little, those are the decorations I love the most. And so I want to make an impression on my kids and for them to love them the most. And it's just a good core memory for me. So, and my daughter was going to be so excited the next morning when seeing this, changing out her little artwork there. She painted this last year. It's supposed to be a turkey and say Happy Thanksgiving. And she noticed that she had written her name completely backwards. And she was just so amazed that she did that, and just shows how quickly time passes and how much smarter they get and better about things. But anyway, I hope that this video gives you some motivation and some inspiration for the week ahead. I hope you and your family have a wonderful and very blessed Thanksgiving, filled with lots of fun core memories, games, good food, and thank you so much for watching and for being here. Take care. my name is Kelsey, and I live on a small farm with my husband and 3 young children. We are first generation farmers, homesteaders, and I love to share motivational videos about non-toxic cleaning, baking with sourdough, homeschooling, and homemaking. So if you're into these things, please be sure to like and subscribe.